Welcome to TVC Midday News. We begin with electoral issues, and this ahead of the 2023 general election. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has thrown his weight behind diaspora voting in Nigeria, with the former president stressing that he sees no reason why the National Assembly cannot amend the relevant laws to make it possible for Nigerians in the diaspora to vote. Now, the former president was speaking when he was visited by the Chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, as well as some staff of the commission in Abeokuta. Mrs. Dabiri-Erewa intimated the former President Obasanjo of some of the achievements of the agency since its establishment.
I want to thank you. You started the idea of having Nigerians in the diaspora all come together and form an organization called the Nigeria Diaspora Organization. And the idea was to be able to tap all these enormous resources, human talent that we have in the diaspora. And this was built on subsequently, and today we have a Diaspora Commission. And I'm also glad to let you know, sir, that some African countries are already visiting us to see how we're harnessing our own diaspora. We've had Tanzania, Namibia, Ethiopia, and a few others. And the Organization of African Caribbean Pacific, we're actually in Abuja to also see how they can start working with the diaspora.
Get yourself organized, and whatever you can contribute internally. We shouldn't allow a few Nigerians to give all Nigerians a bad name. I remember when apartheid was removed in South Africa, the president called me and said, look, we want Nigerians, university lecturers and professors to come to South Africa. And many of them were. All that we needed to do, if there's need for constitutional arrangement, simple thing. Let's amend the constitution that Nigerians in diaspora will vote through the Nigerian embassy.
In Ogun State, market women leaders and village community heads in Yewa land have declared their support for the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu, as well as the Ogun West senatorial candidate Solomon Adeola. The Olu of Ilaro and paramount ruler of Yewa land also called on indigents to invest in the development of the area, which is currently in serious need of infrastructural development. TVC News' Kazim Olowe has more.
The atmosphere looks more like a political rally as residents of Ilaro and other neighboring communities in Yewa land came together to receive the Ilaro City Pavilion facilitated by Senator Solomon Adeola, an indigene of Ilaro in Ogun West Senatorial District. They adorned the arena with images of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and other candidates of the party in the state. The residents were full of appreciation for what Senator Adeola has done for them. Aside from the pavilion, buses were distributed to different associations and electricity transformers were distributed to communities in Yewa land. Tables and chairs were also donated to schools to support education in the area.
People are elated from Senator Adeola approved him to be a godly son of Yewa that is worthy proud. And I say political sentiment.
I'm elated. I'm elated because this is what should happen for a person who is a very kind giver and who loves his people, like Yayi.
Now we have venues for meetings, for events that people can easily access and use for community organizing activities. So this pavilion will certainly help us in that direction.
The Director General of the National Productivity Center, Abuja, was also in attendance and urged residents to make good use of what was donated to them.
The second phase of this project will commence shortly. I want to congratulate you all for the opportunity of having a son like Senator Solomon Adiola.
Market women leaders and village community heads in Yewa land also used the opportunity to reaffirm their support for the All Progressives Congress Ogun West Senatorial District candidate and promised to re-elect Governor Dapo Abiodun and vote massively for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the President of Nigeria. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Ilaro.
Kano State now, where senior police officers from the Northwest Zone have converged to discuss election security matters in the region. Now, the workshop discussed ways to enhance national security capacity for a credible electoral process in Nigeria. And TVC News' Ibrahim Issa has more.
The 2023 general election is approaching. Political activities have since commenced at various quarters of the country. The Nigeria Police Force feels senior officers needs to be trained on more skills on how to manage the elections. The aim is to ensure the elections are rancor-free. In Kano, police officers from the Northwest converged to participate in a workshop titled The 2023 General Elections, Enhancing National Security Capacity for a Secure and Credible Electoral Process in Nigeria.
The essence is to prepare police officers so as to be able to manage security challenges before, during, or after the elections.
We still have about 6 months to the elections, but the earlier we're able to do it, the better. And most importantly, this one we are doing it for officers at a level that they can cascade it down. They can bring it down to, the area command level, to the divisional police.
A form of training.
Yeah, training or something. So that is why we are starting early.
I believe this workshop is going to bring a milestone to ensuring a credible elections from 2023, signaled by the past 2 elections recently held, that of Ekiti and Osun.
As the elections approach, there are loads of expectations from the police. But police officials are optimistic with the recent outcome of Ekiti and Osun State election. The 2023 general elections would be credible, free and fair. Ibrahim Issa, TVC News, Kano.
We talk security now, where 7 more abducted passengers of the March the 28th train attacked by terrorists have been reunited with their families, and emotions flowed freely as family members and friends couldn't hold back their joy when the victims arrived home. Their release comes barely a month after 5 abducted passengers were released by the terrorists. The negotiation process was led by Mahmoud Tukur, who revealed that 6 of the released victims are members of the same family, which include a couple and their 4 children. Also, a 60-year-old woman, Aisha Hassan, was freed due to life-threatening health challenges. It's still unclear if any ransom was paid to the terrorists before this set of hostages were freed.
Take the federal government to negotiate, to sit with these people, find out their grievances. They have innocent people, hardworking people, men who have left their children, they have left their wives for over 135 days. There are people there stranded. They don't have any means. Please, we're pleading on the federal government. Please, sit with these people. Seek Sheikh Gumi's audience, please. By the grace of God, with him here, he could assist and alleviate and help solve these problems.
But we thank God for mercy and grace, and we just pray that the rest of the people that we left back would be released as soon as possible. So whatever the government or whoever it is that can support to get them out, we pray that they do whatever they can to get them out as soon as possible.
In Kaduna State, the federal government has promised to build the capacity of managers of correctional service facilities, this to repel any further attacks. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, who was the reviewing officer at the passing out parade of 102 assistant superintendents of corrections in Kaduna State, says more weapons will be made available to men of the service. TVC News' Lupa Assam reports.
The Minister of Interior, who is the reviewing officer, inspects the personnel cadets of the Correctional Service College on parade. After 6 months of training, 102 of them are now qualified to be commissioned into the officer cadre of the service. The Nigerian Correctional Service provides custodian and non-custodian services to promote public protection. Despite being declared a red zone in April 2021, its facilities have been repeatedly attacked and inmates freed. The latest being the Kuje incident in Abuja. The minister announces that going forward, there will be an increase in the weapon and armaments available to correctional facility managers. This is in addition to capacity building trainings in weapon handling to repel such attacks.
We are fortifying the provisions, infrastructural provisions, buildings and such provision to make it very difficult for anybody to even violate the perimeter of our facilities, raising the capacity of managers of our custodial facilities to, on their own, stand up and defend their facilities. That is one. Two, we are mobilizing support of other security agencies, particularly the military, to reinforce the defense and security of our facilities. And we are equally increasing the weapon and armaments available to the corrections.
He has also charged correctional service personnel to ensure that no inmate is abused or made to suffer non-statutory punishments while in custody. The personnel cadets are urged to be diligent, patriotic and disciplined in the discharge of their duties. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
You're watching TVC News. The federal government has called for professionalism in the regulation of infrastructure development practices in the country. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, disclosed this at the inauguration of a 10-member council for the regulation of engineering in Nigeria. Kemi Balogun has more.
The Nigerian government has recently focused its attention on highlighting infrastructure as one of the ways of revamping the country's fragile economy at a time of dwindling oil resources. This inauguration of members of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria is seen as one way towards achieving the government's goal.
Our government has committed to infrastructure as one of the major ways in which to reboot our economy, to create employment, and to compete on the continental and global stage.
The minister is also using this opportunity to task these newly inaugurated members on professionalism in order to improve the gaps that exist in infrastructure.
Nothing will help Nigeria more than a display of professionalism by those who lead, who define, who recruit, who regulate, who certify membership of the engineering profession.
These new council members say they will waste no time in putting up mechanisms that will improve infrastructure by cutting down the challenges that contribute to having substandard structures through unprofessional methods.
Today, almost everybody call themselves engineers, and they are not. And so we'll look into that, try to see how we can fish out the quacks, remove them from the system, and then make sure that only core professionals do their job. And we also want to appeal to especially private developers to make sure and insist that they use certified Korean engineers to do their job.
Diligently, there is quite a lot to do, and Korean has been pushing all that in lot front. And we are getting a lot of support from government now with the newly with the act that was signed by Mr. President 2 years ago.
This inauguration ceremony comes at the instance of the expiration of the tenure of 9 previous members who had the shared responsibility of manning the affairs of the regulatory body. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
The Katsina state government says It is determined to scale up its health insurance scheme to accommodate more lower-income earners across the state. Governor Aminu Masari stated this at an event to mark the first anniversary of the state's contributory health scheme and its achievement as the best initiative in the nation. Abdul Latif Yusuf has more.
Gradually, most states in Nigeria have keyed into providing universal health care for all through the introduction of state contributory health scheme and awareness creation to that effect. To this end, lots of investments have been made by states to remold health facilities and requisite policies to stimulate health care delivery to the grassroots.
You may wish to recall that access to healthcare services commenced on the 1st of July 2021 with a total of 94,465 beneficiaries in 128 accredited healthcare facilities. It is worthy to note that a total of 274,397 beneficiaries accessed healthcare services at primary and secondary levels of care within the last 12 months.
Worthy to mention and to note and to appreciate His Excellency's approval of the employee contribution of the 2.5% of the consolidated salaries of the state labor force as contributions for the formal sector program since 2020.
The recent presidential directives on enrolling over 83 million Nigerians into the contributory healthcare scheme at various levels is another significant milestone states are seeking to tap into. Already, the formal sector in Katsina State has been able to register up to 90% of its workforce under the scheme.
Access to affordable healthcare services continue to be a serious challenge to most households due to high cost of medication and the economic hardships. In an effort to assist people to have access to sustainable healthcare services across the state government decided to domesticate the National Health Insurance Scheme, taking into consideration our religious and traditional value systems.
For people in the informal sector is another challenge that the government is seriously working to achieve considering the large population of the state. Statistics have shown that a substantial number of people in the state don't have any health plan and hardly patronize hospital services. This is why the recent introduction of contributory healthcare services is hoping to change by gradually impacting of the health-seeking behavior of the people. Abdul Latif Yusuf, TVC News, Katsina.
The Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education has called for the reversal of the current enrollment quota at tertiary institutions. He says this gives advantage to universities over polytechnics in the country. He made this known during the second Rahim Oloyo's annual lecture held at the Federal Polytechnic in Ilaro, Ogun State. Details in this report.
It has been observed that the current enrollment into universities in the country is more than that of polytechnics, and this will continue to create skills gap and affect technical and economic growth of the country. A former executive secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, Muhammad Yakubu, made this observation while speaking on re-engineering polytechnic education in Nigeria to achieve a paradigm shift in Nigeria's development agenda. He advocated for a policy to ensure increase in number of students admitted into polytechnics and technical colleges, noting that this will reduce admission pressure on universities.
The World Bank's 2006 review of post-basic science and technology education estimated that 50 to 60% of graduates of our tertiary institutions could not find adequate jobs. Several other studies have also shown that even with the slow economic growth being experienced, there exist skills shortages as well as skills gaps across all major sectors of the economy.
He also wants the government to allow polytechnics in Nigeria to award degrees and to make national diploma the entry qualification for such degrees. The rector of the institution, who introduced the annual lecture, and other stakeholders at the event say the only way forward for Nigeria's economic and technical development is to support polytechnic education.
It's one of the issues that is in the front burner of the polytechnic education in this country now.
And we know that things like this will ginger up the government in finding a lasting solution to the problem of skill development in this country.
Instead of doing that, overstressing the facilities in the universities that are not even there, and you have resources in the Polytechnic system that are lying waste, that can you not allow, open up, and then open up, just allow the Polytechnic to run their own degree program.
The lecture was held in honor of Rahim Adisa Oloyo, a former rector of the institution. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Ilaro.
The federal government says the $700 million credit obtained from the World Bank will be used to fund the agro-climatic resilience in semi-arid landscape projects. Speaking at a workshop in Lagos, Minister of the Environment, Mohammed Abdullahi, says the project will enhance sustainable livelihoods in Nigeria. We have more in this report.
In recent years, the Nigerian government has established several initiatives to combat land desertification, climate change issues, and habitual losses in the semi-arid areas of the country. Agroclimatic resilience in semi-arid landscapes, ARCASAL, is a 6-year strategic project that aims at increasing the sustainability of landscape management practices in semi-arid areas and improving integrated climate resilience in the northern region.
So when they made it possible for all of us to be here.
The Minister of Environment, at a technical workshop organized for the Ministries of Environment, Agriculture and Water Resources in conjunction with the World Bank, said the project will provide food security, rejuvenate wetlands, and ensure access to water.
Land reclamation. We hope to, because of the nature of the dry lands in northern Nigeria, even the savanna grassland is fast receding. So what we intend to do is to recover those lands, to try as much as we can to make them cultivatable. And then of course the watershed management is about ensuring that our wetlands are rejuvenated, to provide necessary support for community fisheries, access to water, etc.
Delegates from the World Bank say the project will be implemented across various levels of government and is expected to help reduce the issues of land conflicts at communal level.
The design of the project is to cover the arid and semi-arid parts of the country, so the entire northern state in Nigeria, including the FCT, is part of this project. And the project will be implemented at the national level, the state level, even at the community.
If you look at Nigeria, the security issues, I often say that you can link this issue with climate change, because once climate change is leading to land degradation, drought, people tend to migrate. If Nigeria can be able to protect our land and restore our degraded land, preventing migrations, it will give rise to conflict resolution in Nigeria, and as well bring unity as well to Nigerian people.
The minister says the project is one of the central components in President Muhammadu Buhari's strategy of ensuring environmental stability.